Why is Ubisoft so interested in killing game ownership? Well, first we have to address what even is game ownership. I mean, it sounds simple enough, right? You buy a game and then you kind of just own it, right? Common sense would dictate yes, but in actuality, no. Technically, when you quote buy a game, you're buying a license to play that game. You're not buying ownership of that game. And these rules don't apply to just video games. They've technically applied to movies, TV shows, and music for the longest time. But in practice, none of that actually matters because you have the disc, you have the physical media. You can plop your disc in and just play the game, right? Well, that's why Ubisoft and other companies want to change that. On January the 16th, 2024, Philippe Tremblay, did I pronounce that right? Philippe Tremblay, director of subscriptions at Ubisoft, said, and I quote, "One of the things we saw is that gamers are used to, a little bit like DVD, having and owning their games. That's the consumer shift that needs to happen. They got comfortable with not owning their CD collection or DVD collection. That's a transformation that's been a bit slow to happen in games. As gamers grow comfortable in that aspect, you don't lose your progress. If you resume your progress at another time, your progress file is still there. That's not been deleted. You don't lose what you've built in the game or engagement with the game, so it's about feeling comfortable with not owning your game." Obviously, he's comparing video games to Netflix and other streaming services. You know, streaming services where you pay a monthly fee and you get access to other series, or series, I don't know. And subscriptions are extremely profitable. They're super profitable because people just tend to forget to unsubscribe when they don't need it anymore. That tends to happen too often, and Ubisoft wants a little bit of that money. And yes, Ubisoft has a subscription, and they would rather you subscribe to their model instead of just giving them $60 or $70. Now here's a hot take. I do like subscription services as an alternative to buying the games, but I don't like when the option to buy the games is taken away from me. And what if a game gets delisted? Like for example, you know, back when the Xbox 360 came around, Scott Pilgrim was available, and then it got delisted, and now it's back up. But who knows when it'll be delisted? And if you don't own the game already when it gets delisted, then you'll have no chance of playing it. And no, it won't be on Ubisoft's subscription service when it gets delisted, because that's the thing. That's the thing with subscriptions. Games come and go on subscriptions, and while Ubisoft advertises that you can play basically their entire library, the truth is that they could remove any of their games from their library at will, and there's literally nothing stopping them from removing stuff from their subscription services. And even outside of that, I like the idea of having a selection of games to choose from that I can visit basically anytime. Like quite literally, you can go back and revisit the classics. You can go back and revisit games you own, and you can play them whenever you want. That's the beauty of ownership. When you have something, you can access it basically whenever you want. Though I guess it's time to talk about two elephants in the room. First and foremost are subscription-based games. You know, games like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV. You need subscriptions to play those, and these are ever-changing games that constantly get updates. I don't necessarily know what the state of affairs are, but given how popular Final Fantasy XIV is and how many people love it, I personally have a couple of friends that really love the game. It doesn't seem like a terrible value, but I kind of fell out of love with MMOs a while back, so it's not really my thing anymore. And of course, buying games digitally. That's not technically ownership either, right? Like if a platform were to be shut down, then you would lose access to all of those games associated with that platform. And while yes, that is true, and yes, that has happened, especially with platforms like Google Stadia, the fear of losing your entire digital library overnight is a very real and palpable fear. And it's why most people buy digital games on Steam, because they feel Steam is the most trustworthy. I mean, let's be perfectly frank. Steam is the oldest digital storefront at this point. It's been running for like 20 years at this point, and there's no signs of Steam slowing or shutting down. And finally, let's not forget Steam was the first to make a service that's better than piracy. But of course, given that Steam primarily deals with PC titles, should anything go wrong with Steam in the future, like we lose access to all of our Steam games forever, we can fix that. If you like this video, please press the like button and check out our other videos. And if you like those other videos as well, be sure to press the subscribe button and share the good gospel of high-tech lowlife with your friends. Furthermore, we have a community Discord for enlightened individuals such as you. And if you wish to further support high-tech lowlife, be sure to check out our Patreon page. Links in the description.